What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to the channel. Hey, guess what? And a brand new thing. I have my Christmas bug mugs, and we've got coffee this evening. Why? Because I fell asleep about 10 minutes ago. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. What an interesting day in the markets. Hey, Bitcoin pumping 1.5% on what was really bad jobs data, which is kind of insane. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I want to get into a few of the little bits and pieces. I am way behind in terms of getting while getting set up. Do you know what I mean? Like way behind. I haven't really got anything set up. So we are technically, and I mean, people might say, well, too, but you wing it every single night. But we are technically going to wing it tonight, all right? So, you know, you might not like it. You might all be like, oh, my God, Tubit's not prepared anything. Maybe, all right? But we are literally going to wing it tonight. And we'll get into it. As always, though, we're going to get into kind of everything and anything that goes on in the markets. We'll talk a little bit about what's happening, what we need to look forward to. Is there anything good, bad, ugly, whatever it is? We're going to get into it all, as always, we do. My only thing that I ever ask, smash up the like button to a brand new all-time high. Don't forget, if you're brand new here as well, hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate it. If you want to get a little bit more access, do feel free to join the free Discord. And as always, welcome TikTok, welcome YouTube. I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. We're going to get right into it. We're not messing around tonight because actually it's a pretty interesting market and yeah, we need to talk about it. So I'm going to just do this and bring this up because we'll touch on it in a minute. And yeah, let's say hello to a few people. Jesse, where have you been all my life, man? It's been a minute. Good to see you, man. Welcome in as always. Mr. Tim's here. Magic Craig. I see YouTube's changed everyone's settings again. Magic Craig in the building. Thank you for the £2 donation. Appreciate that. Magic says, so what do you think? Bumper dump at Christmas? Well, we'll talk about it. JFR, welcome in. Kevin, good to see you, man. Welcome. Foz here as well. Beebs, Tomato Pete. Viva la Bacon, like number 7. Let's get it. What's going on, bro? Swamp's here. Londo1 says, yep, although we've ever slightly, the harsh truth is we're certainly dropped by week's end. I mean, that's definitely possible. That is definitely possible. What's going on, George Lopez? Paul Glant says, very good evening, everyone in the chat. I'm a British fellow YouTuber. What's going on, bro? Welcome. Welcome. We may check your channel out. We'll see. Chippo, what's going on? How is into Solana? What? You're a Britich YouTuber. What the hell is that language? How is into Solana? We'll touch on Solana tonight as always. 2-bit in the hoof tonight. Yeah, check. Honestly, I'm rocking this cool ass hoodie tonight. Anyway, Stanton, what's going on? Welcome in, Stu. Tipperary. Tibber. I'm just going to call you that because it's way easier. But anyway. And then welcome in. Rob's here. King Kong's here on TikTok. Welcome into the TikTok fam. Appreciate you guys tuning in as always. We're going to get right into the charts. Man, I think coffee might be the new thing for an evening instead of tea. So yeah, hope you all had a good day. Let me know what your day was like in the chat. Don't be shy. If you got any questions, any thoughts, opinions, views, this is the channel for you. All right, we're not just here to just kind of shill nonsense. We want to kind of discuss it as a community and try and get to some kind of resolution as to what is going on. So feel free to drop your comments and opinions. Equally, you got any questions, like maybe you're brand new to the crypto market, I will try my very best to help out. Remember, as always, the disclaimer says it's not financial advice. It's just a bloke talking about cryptocurrency on the internet. Chen, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate the heart me's from none other than Mr. Shane. So, everybody, welcome. Let's talk about what is going on when we get to the price of BTC, because obviously today has been a very interesting day. We did get the jobs data report that came in, and it actually wasn't that good. And the markets kind of went, well, who cares? It is kind of showing real concerns, actually, in the markets, specifically the labor market, which is a real surprise. And essentially, they just kind of went, well, you know, it is what it is. We'll not worry about it. So we'll touch on a little bit as to what that was all about, what we can look at, what was kind of important to think about, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get too kind of crazy into the jobs data because, I mean, that feels like way too much macro sort of stuff. But let's talk about the charts. Let's get into kind of what might be playing out and I guess what we need to be certainly looking at for the next 48 hours. Don't forget, CPI data is going to be another big drop. And then Friday, which I did see something today saying the Bank of Japan has confirmed that they will increase their interest rates. I mean, it's the least kept secret in the entire world. But yeah, hey, 2-bit, where do you live in the UK? Up north, mate. Up north in God's own county, Yorkshire. That's where I live. All right, it's definitely the place where it's all at. RPM says, hey, you guys. Loving a bit of the Goonies. What's going on? So, let's talk a little bit about what's going on with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin today has definitely been doing something a little bit unusual and definitely not what we were expecting. Now, if you remember, we were talking about the M pattern yesterday, which is kind of, you know, it's kind of this sort of pattern. I wish they had like a tool that you could like, you you know, that would like not do this basically, if that makes sense. Where it just kind of did it, you could just kind of click it and 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 it would be fine. So this is kind of what's been playing out here, right? So you kind of have this, I'm just not going to do that actually, it's kind of annoying. I'm going to do this. So this M pattern that we were sort of touching on the other day, basically, I'm on the 12-hour, I need to be on the daily candles. There we go. So this, you know, this M pattern that we play. Now, historically, when you come down into an M pattern, this actually can see something like this. So you drop the M comes off the bottom, it hits the resistance line or the support that we've got here around 83,460 with a potential then to bounce back to the upside. It generally signals a bottom within the market and I guess sort of plays out very much what we're seeing at the minute. This lower range here around 83,500 is probably the bottom at the minute. Now, personally, I expected BTC to come down a little bit further, but it didn't. And I think that's interesting. So the debate would be, is Friday priced in? Maybe, because you got pretty weakening jobs data today that just, the market just kind of went, oh, we don't really care. Like we literally have jobs data to suggest that the market is, or the labor market, by the way, is weakening. All right. It is weakening. And there is a concern from some elements that the Federal Reserve is too late and that they haven't cut rates. For example, let me just give you up in line. It says total non-farm payroll employment changed little in November, plus 64,000, and has shown little net change since April. The US Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today, i.e. November, the unemployment rate at 4.6% was little change from September, and employment rose in healthcare and construction in November, with federal government continuing to lose jobs. So you've got a market that essentially the Fed's cut into twice. Federal rates have tried to cut to try and stimulate the markets, and it's not working. Jobs are still going down. Non-farm payroll actually pretty pants. The only slight benefit is it was worse in October than it is in November. But essentially, not good news. But the market's kind of bounced off the bottom. So we'll touch on a little bit as to maybe why that was. Why did Bitcoin rally 1.3%? Ethereum's still hanging behind. You know, what did it look like from an institutional client basis? And if you remember, we were touching on this yesterday that we said, well, what we're seeing is actually at an institutional level, people are buying the dip. Like they are buying Bitcoin, which I think is very interesting. And when we talked about ETF inflows, just an example, because Bitcoin's a good one to kind of look at. After all of what we thought we were going to get, we actually got a negative outflows on BTC. That, by the way, didn't seem to play out into the numbers today as well. So Bitcoin is kind of not doing what I think a lot of people have expected. The only question I therefore have is, well, we had a lot of people short in the market. Expectation was, like we all thought, the market was going to push down. And yeah, 111 million in long trades in the last 24 hours did actually get liquidated. Pretty interesting. Just in my opinion. That chart shows it's about to dump. Does it? Go on, tell me why you think that is. I still think the biggest fake out we've ever seen in crypto. We are still playing within the boundaries, within barriers, and we're being manipulated right to the bull run 2026. I mean, maybe. Let's hope so. I'm down for that, by the way. I am generally down for a 2026 bull run. We got to get there first. But yeah, F. Joe, I'm curious as to why you think this is gonna dump. Now, I do believe, obviously, the Bank of Japan, and I talked about this yesterday, that I don't believe the Bank of Japan stuff is priced in. I may be wrong. You know, no one's got a crystal ball in this market, and we can only try and work out what that could look and how that plays out. But, you know, it's kind of interesting to me that we see a lot of this. But typically, when we get the kind of technical analysis patterns that we talked about, this pattern playing out tends to be pretty interesting. We talked on this on the Fibonacci when we looked at this the other day as well. And what you can see is we bounced perfectly off that 85,905 range that we talked about, the 382 Fibonacci, and are now pushing back up. The key for me, if this continuation pattern wants to play out, is we break back above 87,574. That's going to require us to push a little bit higher to where we currently sit right now. If we can get it, good news, because that would signal that actually there is a marginal bit of strength within this market. Not a lot, but a marginal bit of strength within this market. And I think that is kind of important to also think about. Now, it is going to take a little bit of momentum to get there, but if we were to hold 87,574, which is what I'd be looking for today's close, specifically on BTC, then that actually could give us a little bit of a boost. The last few times that we've actually seen a positive close, not only above the 382 Fibonacci, but yet again breaking above the 0.5 on this move, we actually have seen BTC rally a little bit. Now, as I tweeted out, by the way, and I don't know if you guys are following my social media, but check out all the links in the description if you are not. I actually talked about whether this could start to play out into a relief rally to retest the $103,000 line. Now, a couple of people were like, 2-bit, I think you're absolutely out of your mind, like what you're talking about. But if you think about a lot of the macro stuff we've got going on, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for us to feel like this market could actually give us some legs right now. There's a lot of macro headwinds. December tends to be a little bit more bearish than we generally see. And equally, you're in a place where I think sentiment, I think back is 16 on fear and greed, then could end up being pretty naff. If you were to say, well, markets may play out as we've been looking for, and if momentum can come with us right now, then this is exactly what I'm thinking could play out. You'll see the 20-day exponential moving average start to balance here, probably dip below the red 50-day exponential moving average, giving us one more week of probably downward momentum, maybe 2 into the back end of this year. In my opinion, it's not financial advice. In my opinion, I think we could end up seeing a relief rally in January, which everyone's expecting to see. 2026, here it is. Here comes the bull market. Stimulus could come in, etc. We've got 2 months before people start taking taxes. This could rally us back up to retest. You best guessed it, 103,488, which would be up there around the 786 Fibonacci on this current move as well. So if you want a little bit of, say, well, what normally happens in the months of the market, and again, you can see it play out here on the monthly. How does this normally play out? Well, let's take 2024 as example. What happened in January 2024? Well, we had a nice little push to the upside. We actually went from as low as 38,000. We rallied all the way up, and then we continued to pump all the way into March before seeing that pull down at the 0.5 Fibonacci, 71,504, which I guess is pretty interesting as well. If you take your way back to 2023, you get something very, very similar as well, which was here, which you see this, the bottom coming in at January 2023 with a nice big candle there on January, followed by 3 months of pumping into the March before consolidation and coming back down. Now, we did continue to go on to create a big bull market move. And actually, our gains from 2023 into 2024 were significantly bigger than what we have in 2025. The debate, though, is that what's going to play out into 2026. And even if you went back into 2021, with the exception of the first month of 2022, which was a negative decline off the all-time high top, we actually did get that relief rally. So if you think about it, in January of 2022, we actually relief rallied all the way up about 44%. Well, if you think about the current price, and if we were to relief rally from here at the similar sort of number, 44%, you best believe it, takes us back to all-time highs. So I'm not saying tomorrow the market's going to be all going absolutely gung-ho and we're ended up back, we're all going back to the moon. But I do think it's interesting when you look at some of this macro stuff, especially today, and I don't think it's worth getting ahead of ourselves saying, nope, the market's flipped, we're back bullish, it's great news, everyone's starting to get excited. But the macro stuff that's come in sort of doesn't play out sensibly as to how we see. Surely, though, if Japan do cut rates, no, they're going to hike rates, Craig. Surely that means they would invest heavily in themselves. No, they're going to hike rates. It's going to cost you more money to get to have money in out of Japan. They're going to hike rates to 75 basis points. All those outflows for BTC, but 19 consecutive days of inflows for XRP. Absolutely true. And Solana as well. So both XRP and Solana have been going well. If you haven't seen my XRP video, I absolutely recommend you go and watch it. It is a action-packed, full video talking all about why this wormhole integration is way bigger than everyone's thinking about it. Way, way bigger. We'll touch on that in a minute, but again, I would definitely say if you haven't seen that video, please go and watch it. If you are a big XRP supporter, I definitely think it's worth it because there is stuff in that video that no one else is talking about, and I believe that you need to know about. So yeah, good. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of an idea as to kind of where we get to. Solana 128, ETH just under 3,000. So the market not super crazy on the outside of macro, but look, still in a reasonably good place as well. But what's interesting when you look at the altcoin market, you've got things like AVAX down, Ondo down, as well as Crowcoin and things like XDC on the back of its move yesterday, Swift, Asta, all down. The reality, though, on the other more consensus altcoins, actually, we're seeing a little bit more optimism. Not too much, all right? Not worth kind of going crazy about. But yeah. Hello, what are your thoughts on Charlie Crypto? It went crazy today, right? It went crazy. I actually put a video out this morning. It rallied 135% or something wild like that. So, I mean, technically, it's up 50% today. Look, I'm not going to sit here and be like, it's the greatest coin in the world. What I will say, though, is they're doing all the right things. The team works super, super hard. And I put a video out and I talked about how we could see a bounce off this line. Look at this. It actually rallied up to nearly 500K. It had a really big momentum. The challenge is always with coins like this, once you get this capitulation down, all you've got is people looking to exit positions, which is exactly what this is. But they sat out and said, we will support dog shelters and canine charities. Well, they've done it. Do you know what I mean? The team are working hard. Doesn't mean it's going to be the craziest of successes in the world, but I like it. I like the team. I think the team are cool. And again, if you saw my video, I talked about it and the price was here. And yeah, it went to there, which I think was like 120%. So just my view. Just my view. Michael's Experience. What's going on, man? Good to see you, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What do you think of Tau? You asked me that, and I said I don't know too much about it. I don't think it's the worst coin in the world, but I have heard some stuff that is not quite right. So yeah, that's my view. That's my view. What's going on, Fairground? Good to see you, man. Steady Eddie crypto market today. Yeah, I mean, look, a pump's better than a dump. I think it's always fair to say that, isn't it? To be honest. So okay, good. That's where we sit with Bitcoin. Just to give you an idea, overall market 2.94 trillion. So look. Definitely, again, this M pattern playing out. The big debate right now, as we've been discussing, is this is actually a nice, well, it's a very shallow, oops, I did not mean to do that. It's a very shallow uptrend. It's not the craziest of uptrends, but it is, however, a very, very shallow uptrend. So again, we could see a bounce coming again. One thing to look for will be tomorrow, whether we get that bounce. That's the bigger debate. But certainly the charts are telling us we might get a little something, all right? We don't have a lot in terms of data to come out tomorrow, so that's probably not going to get too crazy, but still, kind of good news. Worth noting here as well, by the way, Bitcoin Magazine telling us that Bitcoin has dipped more than 30% 3 times this cycle. The previous 2 were great times to buy. Is this different? Again, we were talking about this yesterday. The view would be if you believe the bear market is around the corner, then no, it's a terrible time. If you don't, then maybe this might be the time to obviously take a look at what's going on with it. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. Again, you can always find reasons to support an argument, how true it is. And I guess the relevance would be the other thing I would say is always just worth knowing. Future, what's going on? Future Hub's in the building. Welcome in, Richard. It's a beautiful day. The only way is up from here. What's going on, man? Johnny, not yet. Not yet, man. I'm still sat in stablecoin. I want to see a little bit more confirmation in this market. Now, that doesn't mean, and I think we could get a relief rally. I want to wait and see what happens on Friday. I was saying this on Monday. Bank of Japan decision for me is a big one. So I want to see what happens with that. They could argue the market's priced it in, therefore not a lot's going to happen. We could rally into the Bank of Japan and then dump on Friday. So I'm just going to sit tight. I'm going to wait and see what happens. And yeah, I'll make a decision where we get to on Friday that, you know, maybe there is some opportunities next week. Let's say, for example, the Bank of Japan comes in. Yep, we're going to increase our interest rates by 2.75%. Markets freak out. They don't like it. I mean, if you look at stocks as an example today, which we're keeping an eye on, we actually had a really good day in the US stock market. So does that signal that people are nervous about the Bank of Japan carry trade? Maybe not. And this is probably where it gets a bit more interesting. You say, well, maybe they just don't care about the Bank of Japan raising rates. Maybe the carry trade has unwind so much. And actually the whole tariff news that we spoke about yesterday was a big cloud, a big shadow over the fact that the Bank of Japan did unwind elements of the carry trade. Maybe it doesn't matter anymore. You know, you got Tesla continuing to rally at 489. MSTR, which I think is super interesting, rallied up to 3.5%. Obviously, this is way tied to BTC, but they do need to kind of get a bit of a move on. Expect Michael Saylor to buy again next week. I'm calling it now. I expect him to buy another big chunk of BTC. And let me tell you why I think he's going to buy, and I think a lot of people get into this place of like Saylor being a good person to watch. I'm not super sure, by the way, but he obviously needs to, you know, keep kind of moving some money around and keep things moving. But you look at where his yield sits. His yield is actually in a decline. Thursday, Tiber, Thursday. So I think it's worth keeping very much close to what's going on with MSTR as well. So cool. Fear and greed index that we talked about is in the new low in extreme fear. So we're at 11. I mean, that will probably move up a little bit now, given where we've sitted. But yeah, worth noting that the markets are still very much not cool with where they've been. I think that is, you know, very much in a world. This is kind of what I was talking about. Look at this. The quarter to date BTC yield is negative, interestingly enough, 0.82, which which Michael's strategy hasn't really been in that place for a while. Yeah, you know, where it sort of sits right now and its full performance, you can see here, look, 1.255%, but actually from a quarter is negative. And equally, the recent buys and acquisitions that strategy have actually bought isn't playing out favorably. Hence why I think he's probably going to buy a little bit more next week. But who am I to guess? I'm just a person here chilling with you guys. So what else is going on that we need to be aware of? Well, people are, potentially talking about this relief rally, as we were talking about as well, followed by then that kind of main capitulation down into the bear market. Maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't. Colin Talks Crypto here, giving us a pretty interesting view. Said the relief rally topped to somewhere around the daily 200 MA in Q1 of 2026. That would align to what we've been talking about. Could trap a lot of people with the assumption that the market is back on track. Everything's going to the moon. People will FOMO in. Everyone's going to go, here it is, 2026 bull market. By the way, I haven't flipped super bearish on this. I'm just kind of giving you my view on a lot of things, to be honest. But yeah, we can revisit this in 9 months and laugh about how wrong it was. And I do truly hope that we do get it wrong. And I really want to see, the bull market of 2026 play out. I just right now don't particularly see it. That's the problem. And I could be wrong. Like I said, I could definitely be wrong. That is always a case. So yeah, so we will see. NASDAQ applying for the SEC to extend trading hours. Yeah, that is interesting. 23 hours a day. Trying to align maybe more to, to the kind of Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency standard. Remember, ETFs are some of the hottest things going on right now. And, everyone seems to want a piece of the pie when it comes to those ETFs. So, Craig, thank you so much for the gifted membership. XRP Pump, welcome. Thank you so much, Craig. And, appreciate the 2 from earlier on as well. I don't know if I can't remember if I said thank you, but appreciate that. Griff's in the building. Andy Box says just hold and come back after Christmas. Maybe, yeah. Maybe. Let's hope so, eh? Let's hope so. Interesting enough, American Bitcoin has increased its total Bitcoin reserve to over 5,098. Now, for any of you that don't know what American Bitcoin is, this is the Trump-backed American Bitcoin mining company and achieve a BTC yield of 96.5%. So interesting. I saw Sitecoin actually in the chat. Interestingly, mining right now feels like a good place to be. I'm not saying go and dump everything into mining, but interesting that they continue to stack this. And we've looked at American Bitcoin before. For me, this is either bold long-term strategy, okay, which may be the case. Let's just call it that. Or they know something that we don't. Maybe they do. If anyone's going to have the insider information, then it's certainly going to be these people, isn't it? But they bought more Bitcoin. They're stacking Bitcoin, and they now have a significant amount of BTC reserves that they are continuing to stack sats. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well. Good. Okay, that takes us through charts. We'll come back and double down on a couple of these. I want to keep an eye on the price of BTC. It looks like we might get an $88,000 retest, which, I mean, it's not really anything. But we'll sort of see where we get to on that. Evening 2, but your show is great. Media, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. AC's in the building on TikTok as well. What's going on, bro? Thank you, man. I appreciate that. If people enjoy it, then do you know what? It makes the days in which I stream to 3 people. Which for many of you that may have caught my other channel where I was streaming a little bit when the market, when YouTube cancelled me for a week, was pretty painful. Do you know what I mean? Was pretty painful. 2-bit, I'm still waiting. What are you waiting for? Have I missed something? Curse, you talk in riddles sometimes and I miss it. I apologize. What have I missed? We winning. Oh, Curtis, you might just have to help me out, bro. I'm sorry. Oh, F Joe chart analysis. All right. Okay. Yeah, cool. Bob Franklin in the building says, Merry Holidays. It's got a Bob. What a great name that is. You absolute legend. Thank you so much. Okay. So let's get into a little bit of this jobs data. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on it because I don't think it's, well, I do think it's important actually, but it's less important if you are specifically all about the crypto market. But if you saw my Bitcoin update video, and yes, I am shilling a couple of my videos. They didn't get as many views as I was hoping they were going to get today. But anyway, then I think a lot of what's happening in the market, specifically in the crypto market, is tied to the broader economic market, which we haven't really been there before. And so many people have you believe that the crypto market is no longer tied to the stock market. We decoupled. We're not about that. Yeah, we are. And we're probably as about that as we've been for a long, long time. In fairness, we're probably seeing a bit weak against the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. So I do think there is an element. That is worth touching on when we talk about payroll. Now, what's interesting is obviously no one really cares. I think that's a very, very interesting tell. So, like we said, the change in November, plus 64,000 jobs, nothing super crazy. You can see here how this is playing out. What I think is interesting is this from, say, May 2025. You're just seeing this kind of almost, I mean, it's nonsense. Fed urgent meeting at 6, nothing burger or bullish. The Fed's got an urgent meeting, really? You sure? Where have you seen that? I don't know anything about that. Really? Is there? I feel like there is. I feel like that's not true. Federal Reserve emergency meeting. Nah. There was a Trump thing, wasn't there? I don't think there's an I don't think unless someone can prove me wrong. I can't see anything. Possible emergency. Well, yeah, but I mean, come on. They're not going to emergency rate cut on 64,000 jobs. Technically, if you take this, it's a plus. I mean, it's a plus over 2 months, which means it's actually net 32,000, which isn't particularly great. And when we looked at ADP jobs report, you can see where it all is. It sits in a way different place than I think they want it to sit. So we talked about ADP before. Negative 32,000 jobs, which again is interesting. That means you have a pivot of 64,000. But look where it all is. It's all in mid and large size. Like the small companies are like getting kaboomed. It's just as simple as that. Why is the dump? The market's not dumping. The market's up today about 1.5%. So I don't know if you mean like the dump over the weekend, but yeah, like jobs data is kind of, it's all right. And I mean, BTC is kind of rallying. So what's interesting within this is where you start to look at a little bit of what's going on and what is driving it, which I think is super interesting. Now, I was kind of, listening to a few people talk about this and sort of walk through a little bit and, reading a bit of the data. And the couple of things to think about when you work through was this. The unemployment rate for teenagers was 16.3% in November, an increase from September. So teenagers that are going into the market is not good, right? So what you're seeing is people coming out of, say, education or coming out of broader education, and they're not doing anything. They are the next bit. And we talked about an aging population that is not working and they're sort of holding all the capital. Warren Buffett's a great example of that to a degree. You also see a couple of very interesting things, not in the labor force who currently want a job. So people who are looking or actively seeking, this is your jobless claims number. 6.1 million in November was little change from September. Okay. So we're not seeing a lot of people getting fired. That's generally an okay thing. What the big bit was, which I thought was super crazy, is where is it? It's a little bit further down here, I think. Household revision, seasonal. Okay, populate. Where was it? So here's some of the numbers, but it was reasonable employ people. Here we go. So this is a very interesting part of this report, right? Very, very interesting part. And these numbers are kind of interesting. Employed people at work part-time. So these are people that essentially are getting second jobs. And this is actually going up. So you have almost got a massed employment problem, which, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the Federal Reserve actually did do an emergency rate cut. But you essentially have a problem in the labor market. The labor market is absolutely not good. Not good, actually. So again, you can see here, look, you've got people working more hours than they have done. Earnings are relatively flat. But that big bit there that we talked about, people getting second jobs, is generally not good. Now, lots of it were put down to the fact that Trump's deportation were going to create loads of holes within the labor market. The problem is no one's creating loads of jobs. Why are people not creating loads? Because it's all going into AI. That's the problem. We talked about this yesterday, right? So we don't need to go too much deeper into that AI narrative. But I think that's important to think about. And then the last bit I would reference on here, which is absolutely important for where we get to, is does the established survey account for employment from new businesses? So remember what we talked about with ADP. If you are a new business, generally speaking, you are a smaller business. You don't generally launch a new business with like 500 employees. You join this. Well, we know this is the most difficult sector to keep people in. The established surveys is unavoidable lag between the birth of the new firm and the appearance of the sampling frame and availability of sections. BLS adds new businesses to the survey twice a year. So this is kind of a little bit where you get this kind of up, down, check it all about kind of stuff that's been going on. So again, we can just go through loads of data, which I don't necessarily think is like super important to go through. But if you were to summarize it, and they sort of summarize it pretty well in the first part here, which is essentially nothing's really changed other than actually at a bigger level. Well, there has been stuff changed, because the stuff that's changed is this, right? This, okay, right, we're good. The stuff that's changed is this. So we've got a weakening labor market, which I think is important to reference. The Federal Reserve have cut twice. So they've cut 50 basis points, 0.5% of interest rates, down at 3.5 from the highs at 4.2. The labor market's still terrible, right? It's still terrible. This is the problem. This is bad news. The labor market is bad news. Now, we haven't got much of a move on this. So if you remember when we talked about this last time, this actually sat around this sort of number for the December cut. Okay, cool. Well, we look like we're probably going to be pricing in a very much stable Fed rates in January. I don't necessarily think we're going to see anything crazy unless we get way more unwinding in the labor market, which probably doesn't feel like we're going to get right now. I think it's probably worth just worth noting on there. So the fact is that with rate cuts coming down, we should have actually seen a bit more of a stimulus. Why? Because it's cheaper for people to get money, expand their business. Why are they not expanding their business? Because everyone is freaking out about Bank of Japan. Everyone's freaking out about data centers. Remember, talked about yesterday, $150 billion committed to Oracle to build data centers that have now been delayed 2 years. So I know what you're all thinking. 2-bit. I didn't come for an economics class. I came to see what's going on with Bitcoin. Is it going up or is it going to go down? Well, this is all important to think about. The fact is, macro down, short term, it might go up. All right. And you can say that's a proper on the fence kind of view. But I think that's where I think that's kind of where we sit a little bit right now as to how this all goes. So jobs market, yeah, it is what it is. I think we probably were okay with it. Excuse me. We probably were a little bit better. The actual consensus or the forecast, by the way, just FYI, was 25,000. So it was a little bit better than forecast, albeit it was 2 months data. So technically it was 32,000 versus forecast of 26. So slightly better, but not loads better. Curly says, where's Holmes? Not seen him since before you got... Yeah, I don't know. Trump press conference and Coinbase announcements both tomorrow. Something is brewing. Ooh. I thought, is the Trump announcement not tonight? I thought that was tonight. Let's see if we can... let's see if we can get the White House up on here. We want to see what's going on. And maybe they're going to be speaking. I thought it was tonight. Oh, look, White House. The first of the team. Okay. First, the proclamation continues. Okay, fine. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. Okay, I don't see it, but I have seen somewhere that I believe he's going to do some sort of announcement, but I don't know what it was. Oh, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay, that was it. Yes. So Donald Trump, my fellow Americans, I'll be giving an address to the nation tomorrow night. I'm live from the White House at 9 p.m. Eastern. I look forward to seeing you then. It has been a great year for our country, and the best is yet to come. President Donald J. Trump. Pump our bags, Donny T. Let's get it. 37, what's going on, bro? Welcome in. Hey, welcome to everybody tuning in on TikTok, by the way. Nearly 100 people on TikTok right now. Shout out to you guys. And yeah, shout out to the nearly 100 people we got here on YouTube as well. So yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Okay, so we talked about American Bitcoin. We talked about the price of BTC, which actually is performing all right. We talked about jobs, which I think was interesting today. Definitely wasn't quite what I expected. We've done strategy. That no longer applies. Market movers, maybe. That we're done with. We don't need that anymore as well. And that we also don't need as well. And that we don't need as well. Okay, cool. Trump or his House Speaker speak most nights now, but it's usually all repeat stuff. Yeah, I mean, the last few times we've seen it, it's always been a little bit of a nondescript event, hasn't it, to be honest? And we got like, we just got stuff that wasn't really relevant. So, yeah. We'll see. I mean, it'll be interesting. Obviously, we'll stream. What, 9 p.m. Eastern? Is it 9 p.m. Eastern? Oh my God, what time's that? What time is 9 p.m. Eastern? 9 p.m. Eastern in UK. Is 2 a.m. bro. It's super late. I don't know if. Well, I'm kidding myself actually. Of course, I'll be up. Of course, I'll be up. Right. Okay. Good. Good. Stop yawning. Stop yawning. Not a good thing to keep yawning. Okay. There wasn't anything else super crazy that I saw in the markets today. I don't know if you guys saw anything different. Obviously, everyone's still freaking out about the potential rate hikes in Japan. We will definitely have to wait and see how that all plays out. Yeah, 2 a.m. man, super late, isn't it? Super late, but hey, you know, you got to do what you got to do, aren't you? So tomorrow, just to give you a view, we have a couple of speakers. Fred Waller and Fred Williams will be speaking, whether they go for the same sort of idea that we got with Stephen Mirren, which was yes, we need to cut rates. Outside of that, super boring, right? Thursday is when we sort of get a little bit more of an optimistic view with the CPI data coming in, 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, Central Standard Time? Not sure. Davo, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. I'll be in the land of Nod at 2 a.m. Yeah, well, I probably should be as well. Alvin's just sent me a message saying Happy New Year's. Alvin, are you in a different place than I am? It's like quarter past December. What does that even mean? It's the 16th of December. Oh my gosh. Who knows what's going on? I have no idea right now. Alvin's sending me a video. It's all good, mate. It's all good. I'm curious what the video is going to be. But yeah. Okay, so continuing on then. Bitcoin, obviously the big unwind that lots of people are freaking out about. We'll talk a little bit about JP Morgan here as well. JP Morgan going big on Ethereum. They really have changed their entire view as to kind of what they thought they were going to be all about. Remember, JP Morgan are like, no to Bitcoin. It's a load of nonsense. Turns out that's not true. So, yeah, pretty interesting. But Bitcoin under pressure as the yen carry trade unwinds. There is no way of understanding how much capital is actually sat within the Japanese carry trade. We just know that, a couple of billion did come out of it. What would probably be worthwhile? Can we see this? In fact, let me see if I can get this up. Let's see if we can get amount of treasuries from the USA that Japan hold. That's probably what we need to understand. Because if they dump that, so Japan is the largest foreign holder of US Treasury securities with holdings around $1.1 to $1.2 trillion of late 2025. But the exact figure fluctuates monthly. Recent data shows figures like $1.18 trillion in September 2025. Interesting. So they have a fair old chunk of treasuries, which we touched on yesterday. So if they unwind them, if they unwind treasuries that, by the way, it took a little bit of a hit today. So that's kind of interesting as well. So we see the 10-year is at 4.14. Man, you'd love to see the 10-year drop below 4%, wouldn't you? On a serious note, if the 10-year drops below 4%, that's got to be good news. It's got to be good news. Likewise, when you get something like the 2-year, that would be good news as well. We need to see some of these treasury yields just come down a little bit, all right? Just come down a little bit. That'd be good news. Alvin, are you playing Fortnite? Oh, bro! Alvin's playing Fortnite in his shop. Alvin's actually technically working in his shop right now while watching me. Get it, Alvin. Man, I'm so jealous. But yeah, the 10-year would be super cool if we could get that to kind of come down, wouldn't it? That would be like a really, really bullish thing. How do I do something? Hold on a minute, Alvin. Hold on a minute. Maybe I can. Maybe I can. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, people. Yo. Oh, man, Alvin's talking to me. Oh, here we go. Yes, there we go. Look at this. Look at this.
Me gaming out in my store and watching my favorite YouTuber.
Yeah, let's go.
Me gaming out in my store and
love it, mate. Love it. There you go. I would love to see Japan grow back to how they were back in the good old days. Yeah, like 0% interest rates, and everyone can take loads of money out of the Japanese market and go and buy US stocks with it. That would be pretty crazy to think about. So, but yeah. The Japanese carry trade, I think, will be interesting, and the debate will be what they do in terms of selling. I just can't help but feel like maybe this might not be as bad as I think a lot of people maybe are sort of setting up to be. Again, maybe we priced it in, but the reality, well, we might just see it. The pilot flying blind angle as well, arguing the Fed cut without any inflation data whatsoever due to shutdown-related disputes. He attached a specific interpretation of the balance sheet policy. Finally, the most important news of the day. Quantitative tightening is over, which, again, some of the bullish sentiments we talked about yesterday, maybe that sort of plays out. But, yeah, man, you'd love to see the 10-year come down. Oh, my God, why have I got so many windows open? Hold on a minute. What is all this? Okay, let's close that window. FDIC. Okay, I need that one open. And let's close that one. Right, cool. Cool. JP Morgan, like we said, look at this. JP Morgan's move to Ethereum proves Wall Street is quietly hijacking the digital dollar from the crypto narratives. We discussed this before. Ethereum, or Ethereum layer 2s, actually. Did you see that? Loads of stuff is coming through. ETH might be a very good longer term hold right now. I know that it doesn't look great. And I know, in fairness, a lot of the bull market, a lot of the coins in the what should have moved in the bull market are down, but it feels like there's a lot going on with ETH. I even have seen some Ondo stuff going on right now, which is sort of saying that maybe Ondo is becoming a bit more optimistic. I'll have to see. You know, I'm about it. And then, obviously, this is the last big bit. The FDIC moves the Genius Act from law to practice with stablecoin rules. We ain't going to get this now until probably, I think at best, February, March time would be my guess for this, the Genius Act. So, you know, that means we might still see some pretty painful, you know, manipulation. Let's call it that for now in the market. But, man, yeah, BTC is trying to rally right now, looking like it might retest 88,000. I mean, it's insane that we're even bullish on 88,000, to be honest, versus, you know, where we were previously at like 126, but still, a pump, like we said, is better than a dump, in my opinion. So, yeah, we'll keep close to this one. We'll keep close to it. Stanton's in the building. What's going on, Stanton? Good to see you, man. Welcome to you. Okay, good. Right, that takes us through that. That takes us through a little bit on MicroStrategy. Liquidity we've touched on. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's see what else is going on. I think it might be a little boring for a while in the market. Maybe, Tim. Maybe. Not a lot going on right now. Not a lot at all going on right now. Hey, welcome to the Discord, the 190th member. Welcome. Don't forget, link to the Discord is in my bio. It's also in the description if you are interested in getting involved. I highly recommend checking this out. It's totally free. You don't have to pay anything. You just come and hang out with us. Also, by the way, if you are in a place where you want to get all of your favorite cryptocurrencies, then this is the place for you. Look at this. Only 6 days left. We're offering you some pretty cool sign-ups, bonuses. So check these out. You can see these on number ones. If you are interested, check out the link. It's in the description. Also, you can see it in the links page of our Discord, where you can get absolutely exclusive benefits for being here on this live stream. And yeah, you can go over there. You can do this all right now, and then you get instant rewards as well. So look at this. You get trading reward, depending on the amount you do, and all sorts of cool stuff. So check it out. Link in the description, link in the chat. Head on over to the Discord, link in there as well if you're interested. Check it out. Okay. So FDIC takes us into next year. That's going to be pretty interesting as well. So worth noting, I believe, and sort of keeping close to kind of what's going on with that. This should support the easing of, let's call it, I mean, you can't really call it anything else, can you? The easing of maybe manipulation in the market, the easing of deliberate, coordinated dumping of specific assets to create fear in the market. But I did think this was a cool kind of way of just looking at it. I thought this was a good little kind of idea as to how this all plays out. So Genius Act coming into law is no longer giving us regulatory clarity. The FDIC supervised banks. Remember, you have to be FDIC regulated if you want to class yourself as a bank, which is why there's loads of stuff going on with strategy. And I don't know if you saw the videos and stuff that went out today. Pretty wild, if you ask me. Then you get the FDIC review gateway, obviously giving us all this kind of stuff, which then supports the one-to-one reserves to liquidity. So these are validated assets. So, for example, Tether has to have, you know, backed assets, which may be why you're seeing rallies in gold. You know, they've been buying a lot of gold recently. They tried to buy Juventus, which is interesting. I don't know if you could leverage a football team against the price of USDT, but hey, we might get a little bit more maybe move on gold, perhaps. That could be pretty interesting. And then you've got governance, integrity, and clear redemption policies as well, which will obviously be where people can swap in kind their shares, whether it's ETFs or, you know, their asset that's held to the underlying asset that could be anything like, you know, XRP, BTC, whatever it is. Good. So one other thing I wanted just to touch on, I said I would double back on it, was around XRP. And if you haven't seen that XRP video, by the way, I do. And look, obviously I want to shill my own channel and try and get things moving and grooving and doing all that kind of good stuff. But if you haven't watched it, I would just go and watch it, only because I do think it's worth it, and only because I think it's important. So you can see me, just go over to youtube.com and search for 2bit. The good news is I come up first. But go and watch this video here. XRP and banking adoption is causing to think. This whole wormhole idea that we see moving from just kind of moving between blockchains and why it's important, because there are already some very big financial markets and financial institutions using Wormhole. I did not know that, but my research took me to a place where they are. So, you know, really go and watch that video, because I think if you aren't bullish enough on XRP, you might want to go and see what's building, because I definitely think it's worthwhile. And this is where we are now. Look at this. Keep telling you XRP at 10K. Curtis knows what's up. Curtis, have you seen that video? You should go and watch it. You should go and watch it. When you got Bank of America already using Wormhole, that then Ripple all of a sudden are now integrated into to support cross-border payments and interoperability between blockchains from things like Base, Optimism, Ethereum, XRP, Ledger. You're like, oh, well, that's an interesting coincidence, isn't it? So definitely recommend checking that out. Definitely recommend checking that out for sure. For sure. Right. Apparently my computer doesn't have enough memory. Why do you not have enough memory, computer? What? Man, I really need a new computer, guys. This is high on the list of things to get in my world. Alvin, I might be coming to you. Right. Let me just delete some of this stuff. Okay, we can get rid of some of this. Okay, cool. QLY. There we go. Reload. Yeah, so as I was saying, before my computer decided that it was going to just delete all my windows so I can't see what's going on, which is never a great thing, by the way. Never a great thing. Too bad I know where to buy a computer. Yes, you do, Alvin. Yes, you do. Thing is, I want to build one, Alvin. I want to build one, which is why I built this one. I mean, this is super old, this computer now, but yeah, I definitely need to get a bit of an upgrade, I think. Definitely need to get an upgrade. An extra special, yeah. Yeah, maybe I need to have a look at it. Hold on a minute. Have you sorted your Have you sorted this out yet? Ooh, look at that. Right, let's have a look. Can I even look for one? Power cable. Yeah, see, I don't want laptops. What we got? Dell Power. It says out of, come on, Alvin. It says out of stock. It says out of stock, bro. What the heck? What the heck? Anyway, I'll have to build a new one. Good. Okay. So, yeah, JP Morgan, man, I moved off the price of Bitcoin. Let's keep an eye on that. I think it might break 88,000. Hopefully. Get a new computer in the January sales? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I need that. I need a new computer for sure. Let me do that. Let me close that one down. And, cool. All right. Good. Just download more memory, mate, and download some more RAM at the same time. Yeah, that could be a thing. How to download memory. Right. XRP ETFs down a little bit. No surprise. Down to about 20 milli. But I think that's probably true in terms of sentiment of where we are right now in the market. Oh my God, what is that, Vern? It's probably true as to where we are. Market's pretty quiet. Nothing's really going on. And look, still be holding 20 milli. I think it's fine. Still holding up the top spot, by the way. Franklin Templeton doing around $5.6 million. So, you know, they're still holding off. You saying bought a gaming chair. I think poor man even paid for it. No, he didn't pay for it. But I do need, man, I just need a whole new house, new office, new setup, new chair, new everything, bro. New everything, new haircut. I mean, need it all. Need it all. Yeah, look, XRP ETFs are holding up pretty well as well. So, man, people are jumping into the Discord. Let's get it. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to you. Good. All right. That takes us through that. That takes us through that. We've done that. We've done that. You guys have checked that out. And yeah, we'll stick with the price of BTC. If you guys have got any questions, any thoughts, any opinions, yeah, any views, then let me know. Like, it'd be good to get your opinions on things. Good to get your thoughts on the market. And as always, if you've got any questions, and let's say you're brand new, then feel free to do it. So let's take a look really quickly at, let's take a look at the pre-market data, which I think is interesting, albeit it is super early. And then let's take a look at anything going on at a wider macro level, because I think it's probably worthwhile. Oh my, it's super bright. I did not need to see that right now. Super bright that that we might need to be aware of, which I don't necessarily think is a lot at the minute. So we can take a look. Man, is there a look at like super bright? I could change that to like having at least a different one. So okay. Fine. That's what I'm gonna look at. Okay. So pre-markets, what have we got? Wow, a pretty big check. Man, futures on the Dow look massive. Why is that the case? They can't be freaking out about the markets. I mean, BTC futures actually look green right now. Interesting. Why are the pre-markets so bad on the Dow? 355. I mean, it's only just closed. Not down. Yeah, I'm down for it, Alvin. Yeah, 100%. We should do it. 23rd. I'm down for doing it on the 23rd. That'll be my last stream, unless I stream on the 24th, which I can't imagine loads of people want to jump on. Someone spam the Discord. Okay. Man, where's Jesse? I need to get some more. I need to get some more Discord moderators. Where are they spamming it, Craig? Oh, there I see them. Yeah, I got them. Got him. Oh man, what's going on? I've already reported he was offering people. Yeah, I think I've sorted it. I think I've sorted it. Right, right. I'm gonna right, Craig, I've made you an admin, and Curtis, I'm gonna make you an admin as well, if that's all right. So you guys can just be careful though, because you guys now see loads of stuff that's in there. But I've made you guys admins so that you can manage it. Just ban people that do anything, anyone that posts stuff like that. Yeet out the door, yeah. Obviously, don't go crazy and start launching everybody out, but yeah, I just made you 2 admins. But I think I've chucked them out. Yeah, I think I've chucked them out, so that's fine. I need to do some tidying up with the Discord, bro. What? Right. Okay. Good. So yeah, I don't know why the pre-markets look not great, by the way, but hey, let's see where we kind of get to. The fair value on the Nasdaq looks okay. What do we look at on the Asian markets? I mean, this was like this yesterday, and I mean, we didn't really get anything moving on the back of it. 88,000 on BTC, by the way, just brought back above. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out for pre-markets. They don't look super crazy, if I'm honest. Eric Jackson, EMJ founder and CEO, introduces new generation 2 crypto treasury platform. Wow, what the heck is this? This looks pretty wild. Founder takes on the helm of the crypto treasury platform that embraces volatility.
But my next guest has done it. He's launched EMJX. It's a publicly.
Yeah, I launched him, Casey.
Bring him in now. EMJX founder, chairman, CEO Eric Jackson. Eric, first of all, congratulations. Now, I'm reading about this new trading vehicle, and I'm seeing that you're using a system the same way. You know, you kind of rose to fame with the Carvana call, and you're calling it to find Carvana coins. I guess we should back up a little bit. What is it exactly that we're doing?
Carvana coins. I mean, the only Carvana I know about is trading at about 38 cents. What? Carvana. I'm pretty sure it's me that's mistaken as opposed to them, but hey. But hey, right, everybody. Good. Okay. Let me just check that. Is that? All right, good. Go along on Carvana. Yeah, exactly. Oh, dear me. Wild. Wild, if you ask me. Sector rotation, commodities. I mean, commodities look okay for tomorrow, but I mean, it's really early to call the pre-markets, in fairness. Obviously, they only closed, because I'm in the UK, I'm a little bit behind. Well, I'm not behind, but they only closed not a while ago. But hey, I mean, look, we'll take BTC back down below 88. So there's definitely not a lot of momentum within this, you know, this breakout to a degree here on the 1 hour chart. Nothing, you know, nothing super crazy here right now. Nothing super crazy. This was obviously the unwind that we saw yesterday. So, I mean, we're sort of 50% back to where we were. I mean, maybe this just kind of rallies back up. What are we looking for back to push? Another 2% takes us back to, where we were trading prior to that Monday dump. So, maybe the market does manage to rally our way back up to there. That would be a pretty nice little move, in fairness. Interesting enough, supporting on the 20-day exponential moving average, breaking above the 50-day, which, I mean, that's good news. That's good news. 50x leverage. Oh, dear me. I love it, Alvin. I love it. He's on there selling cheap. You can even find after this week, crypto will just be very quiet and boring with no movement because people will be... Yeah, I mean, maybe. Maybe. The bigger thing at the minute, and we've touched on this before, by the way, is that the market's been heavily driven by institutional money. So when the institutions close down, which, I mean, is coming up, you look at the Senate Banking Committee as an example, they all go home. Then, yeah, you're right. Maybe the market just becomes super boring and no one really cares anymore, at least until sort of January. But at the same time, when you have low volume, that can be... which is why we're seeing the weekends, really, which is why we could sort of see a little bit move in the market. I think what's interesting is that our weekends have been super wild when you look at it, and we see these massive dumps either on a Friday or a Monday. So this was a Monday dump. This is a Tuesday, Wednesday pump. So, I mean, at the minute, it's just so difficult to call, which is, again, it's not financial advice on this channel. It's just my opinion, but that's why I'm in a world where I'm like, right, I'm just going to sit tight and see what happens. Like, this is just not a market I want to, really be in a world of concern. If I was to do anything, I'd probably be looking for maybe taking a long trade on a big margin or low leverage. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because, if you could weather a storm, say on like a 5x leverage from, 84,000, you could probably leverage that down, or you could probably survive like a dump to 75k with then a view that longer term. And I do want to start getting to a place where, I want to put a couple of trades on and try and ride them back up on the next bull market. We'll talk about that in the Discord probably a little bit nearer the time, as hopefully potentially we can start moving and grooving with what that looks like. So yeah, could be interesting if you ask me. But I mean, I don't want to get into the is it or isn't it not a bear market just yet. I'm sort of in a place where we'll see. But yeah, I mean, Cobalt, I'm down for it. By the way, I'm down for it. Let me ask you a question, Cobalt. What's your catalyst that you're looking at? What is it that you are hanging your hat on saying, yeah, do you know what? That's why this... I'm just dead curious, by the way. I'm not calling anyone out. I'm just curious as to, what people are looking at. Can I just say, go very careful to everybody Christmas shopping this year. I've had a lot of problems already about Xmas markets being attacked and destroyed along with the recent show. Oh my God. Yeah. It's bad times. Bad times, indeed. But yeah, let me know, Cobalt. I'm curious. What do you think happens to BTC over the next 12 months? Well... I think you can't really predict it for the next 12 months. Let me tell you why. I think you've got to break this down into two scenarios. Scenario number one is that the markets just enter 2026, and actually there is so much positive catalyst. More Fed rate cuts, new Federal Reserve chair, which we absolutely know will cut rates. The expectation, I think one of the key things to think about is what happens with Stephen Mirren. His time in office will be due in mid-Jan. Does he stay on? Does he become a permanent member of the Federal Reserve chair? We also then are in a world that you expect global liquidity to increase, US liquidity to increase, the debt to come down, repo debt into banks. They injected over $11.6 billion into the banking sector yesterday. So I think that then plays out into a probably better 2026, and actually you start to see it. The other catalyst is that we limp into 2026, which we're doing now, and actually nothing comes and stimulates the market. There is nervousness on jobs. The Fed are too slow. They don't cut rates quick enough. And actually then you get a labor market that rolls over. You get the overall market that rolls over. And then you get, and no one wants to talk about this, a recession. All right. So, which we don't want. And the way that we sort of have been looking at this before, and, we've talked about the 10-2 split a little bit. Again, I'm not an economist, so I'm not going to try and pretend I know what I'm talking about here. But when you look at generally what that is, an increasing 10-2 is a supporter of less restrictive monetary policy, and actually says liquidity tends to be a bit of a bigger. The big thing, if you were to hang your hat on one thing right now, in my opinion, that's going to drive the crypto market, that tells you that in 2026 could be a better year than 2025, is how do you put liquidity into the market? The problem you've got is liquidity. And I know that sounds like a stupid thing to say, but it is. There's not enough liquidity in the market to drive this market at the moment. And I think that's the thing that I'll be looking for. If the Fed cut rates, they turn the printers on, we're probably going to be okay, because that'll support the labor market. It injects capital into the market. People feel a little bit better. Drop a Trump $2,000 stimulus check into the middle of the year. I think that could be good news. I think that could be good news, really. People just have rates in Japan in their head, but there is almost priced in. Yeah, well, I mean, come on, we talked about that yesterday. So I'm the other way. I don't believe that the Bank of Japan interest rates are priced in. I think the Oracle AI bubble is priced in. I actually think that that's what the market dip was yesterday. I don't think there's a lot of news come out today specifically around Oracle. I did wonder if anything had changed, but I don't think it has. What was interesting today, and obviously we touched on the oh, interesting. All right, I'm going to blow your minds a little bit here. Oh, that's annoying. That didn't open. I might be about to just take myself to a totally different level here, where I think I should be in a world where about 50,000 people are watching this live stream. Let me show you why. Let me show you why. I don't know, that was what we were talking about yesterday. So, but yeah, so I think they're priced in. I think the AI bubble is a big thing. But I'm just reading this here. Oracle's $248 billion AI investment commitments. That's pretty interesting. What is also interesting, oh man, that's so annoying. Don't make me sign. Why does it make me sign up to these accounts? I don't want an account with this particular. I thought I had one actually. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Right. So here we go. So we talked about this yesterday. This is why I think it's probably not priced in, right? This is why I think it's probably not priced in. Let me show you. Is this going to sort itself out? Yes. Okay, perfect. So we talked about Oracle yesterday. AI. Obviously, Oracle is kind of a big, it's got its fingers in lots of pies, right? And we sort of said, didn't we, yesterday, that, look, Oracle, given the fact it's now delayed these data centers, $250 billion worth of commitment. Look at this. Today's market seen swings in various stocks based on news and other factors. Stocks like Oracle are rallying below the highlights of the big ones, okay? Blah, 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 blah. AI computer powers are changing stock market investing. That's not what I wanted to say. Oracle, where's Oracle? Where is it? Am I just like, my eyes have gone, I can't really see it. But yeah, so the Oracle rallying today. Interestingly, then the markets rally as well. Look at that, 3.7%. 3.7%. Why has Oracle moved? Oracle offers underwater bulls a potential reprieve. Is this to do with these commitments? So Oracle stock is down 0.6. The question is, okay, it's fine. That doesn't help me at all, actually. That doesn't help me at all. I mean, when I was looking at this, it basically looked like there was a $248 billion investment. I can't open that one. But the data center delay, Oracle pushed back on December 12th against a report claiming it would finish building data centers OpenAI in 2028 rather than 27. The report published by Bloomberg said the delay was tied to labor and material shortages cited in the union sources. The market did not take news lightly. Oracle shares fell. Okay, yes, we saw this yesterday. RBC Capital responded by reiterating the sector's perform rating at a $250 price target. The firm noted the company denied the Bloomberg claims in the comments. Wow, so they're basically coming back and going, nah, man, you are literally tripping right now. They said this: site selection and delivery timelines were established in close coordination with OpenAI following execution of the agreement and were jointly agreed upon. There has been no delays to any sites required to meet our contractual commitments, and all milestones remain on track. Wow, that's a pretty interesting move in 24 hours, isn't it? This is why I don't think the Bank of Japan stuff is tagged in. Wow, did you one time did you just come in and just type blah blah blah? That's a bit harsh. I'm almost sure the market will take off mid-Jan. Ooh, I like it. I like it. It's all good one time. I don't know why do you type blah blah blah. I take that personally, by the way. So yeah, so actually they came back and was like, I mean exactly that. Don't forget, the OpenAI have already asked for a Fed bailout. I mean, that's insane. Like, they need to keep this moving, and Trump needs the stock market to keep moving as well. OpenAI Fed bailout. Have you seen that? I can't remember how much money it was, but it was a lot. OpenAI discussed government loan guarantees for chip plants, not data centers. So Oracle build data centers, $250 billion. Here's what we're committing to, yada, yada, yada. While at the same time, they're going, yeah, we're fine. We're cool. We're going to be on there. Man, yeah, the AI bubble, it can't go kaput. If it goes kaput, then we're all into recession. I think that's just the fact of the matter is right now. When I came on, that's what I heard. But I'll let you off one time. Commodities, rare earths required for data centers. Oh, yeah. Well, this is why the NVIDIA chips are important, isn't it? Because they're trying to sell them to China. Interesting. I don't really understand that they turn to quickly read through all and then word what sounds important. I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, where did you go one time? Anyway, good to see you, man. Welcome back. Appreciate you being here. If you haven't already, by the way, folks, give us a quick tap on the little thumbs up. That does support the channel. If you're brand new around here as well, do consider subscribing. I'm working super hard to try and bring you good content, factual, content. I don't generally just put out a load of nonsense of price targets. I'm actually trying to put out good, solid content that really gets into the nitty-gritty of what's going on. If you enjoyed that type of thing, then definitely hit the subscribe button. Man, New York, like it. I bought $300 of XRP today. Did I mess up? I don't think so. Again, not financial advice, but at 192, that's a pretty decent buy zone. And again, if you haven't already, go over to youtube.com/2bitcrypto and watch my XRP video. It talks about why the new acquisition or new partnership with Wormhole is crazier than people think. Pretty big. Amazon sales are down in December 2024 due to mainly because tariffs. Consumers are purchasing much fewer items per transaction. I mean, that's true as well, which we might get in CPI. More likely to show up in PPI, but we might get it in CPI that we obviously come in on Thursday, albeit at the minute, consensus is that it's going to be pretty flat and that we're not going to see anything super crazy. So see there, look, CPI is expected around 3%. So nothing, core inflation 3, forecast is 3. Consensus is 0.3 on the core inflation month over month versus 0.2. So yeah. Nice. They're the best ones when you do it for business and actually you can take some, a little bit of holidays. It'd be like doing YouTube full time, like fly out to the Bitcoin conference and be like, where's work? Like, I've got to go to work, but actually just going to the Bitcoin conference. That'd be pretty cool. So yeah, we will see if there is a full impact on tariffs, which we might get actually with the speeches tomorrow. So, is it tomorrow or Thursday? Oh yeah. So we got Bostic. Bostic, bro, come on. We'll see what Bostic says. He was pretty bearish. Fed Waller was good. He's all about rate cuts. So we'll see what he has to say, to be honest. I don't know what he's going to be talking about, but we'll see what those two individuals discuss. You got Waller, you've got Bostic and Williams, I think, tomorrow. Can we actually see what they're going to talk about? Just out of interest. Speeches. Governor Stephen. Oh, okay, they only have Stephen Mirren on there. That's annoying. Oh, hold on a minute. Can I? Oh, I can. Oh, I can't. Oh, that's annoying. Why can't it let me look at days coming? Oh, bro, what the heck? Bro. Calendar. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. When is that? 12th of the 2nd. Okay, yeah, it's not that week. Not that week. Okay, we're here, yeah. Economic outlook from... Okay, so tomorrow, Governor Christopher Waller is going to take us through the economic outlook. Okay, that sounds pretty exciting. Might take a look at that. So I guess we are waiting for 2026 for the bull run. Well, the question that we've been trying to answer is 2026 going to be the bull run? I do think there'll be a relief rally. I mean, this is interesting on the 1 hour chart, isn't it? But you would argue that history tells us that we should, in theory, be due a little bit of a relief rally. If we do, great, because we could actually see us move back in. What you have to be careful for is, though, that you don't end up just holding up again and dumping it back of it. By the way, I'm not telling you what to do with your cryptocurrency. That is down to you guys and your specific strategies. But I think if we can rally back to 104, 5, maybe even 6, then I will take some more chips off the table. I don't think that's a bad idea, in my opinion. But again, we'll see. We'll see where we get to right now. We will see where we get to right now. Okay, good. The Fed might also buy corporate bonds and bond ETFs that include Oracle's debt, effectively lowering its borrowing costs and supporting the access to capital markets. That's true. That's true. Equally, we know the Fed's going to print some money as well. And actually, we were expecting companies like Tether and all the rest of it. They did print a little bit. Not too much though. We want to make sure the Fed balance sheet sticks to where it is and what it's doing. So that might be an interesting speech tomorrow, actually. With there might be an interesting speech with Waller and see what he says. See what he says. One time I'm down for it, by the way. This is one of those moments where I don't think there's anything bad about being cautious, but the secretly you're like, yeah, I hope it goes absolutely super crazy bullish. That's where I'm at right now. And all of the macro would suggest that that could be the case, by the way. All of the macros suggest it could be the case. New Federal Reserve Chair, new Federal Reserve monetary policy, you know, Trump stimulus, like loads of macro stuff is going to be good news. The debate is whether we get it or not. Fingers crossed we do. Fingers crossed we do. But you know that we'll be here every day bringing you the latest, keeping you plugged in and dialed in. If you want to get access to a little bit more of that, join the Discord. Like I said, totally free. Head on over, link in the description, also in the bio. And just get in there. We'll try and moderate it as best we can and keep it moving. Remember, don't message anyone back that isn't me. If anyone messages you saying it is me, it's not. Trust me. We do try and keep it moving, kind of keep it grooving. And occasionally we just yeet people out of there. If they don't contribute, then they get yeeted. It's just as simple as that. But yeah, I appreciate anyone that does want to get involved. And like I said, we're trying to do the right thing. We're trying to keep things going and rocking and rolling. So if you want to be part of that, feel free to get in there. That'd be good. The Treasury in coordination with the Fed could use funds from the Exchange Stabilization Fund or federal earnings to buy Bitcoin, improving the environment. Well, I mean, look, that's one of the things that I think are very high on the agenda. And there'll be loads of people on crypto Twitter tomorrow going, Trump's going to announce a strategic reserve. He's going to buy Bitcoin. Like, I don't think we're at that place yet, but I would double back on things like American Bitcoin, World Liberty Financial that have they're stacking Bitcoin. You know, they're making sure their bags are packed. For me, I think that says one thing, but that's, you know, I may be wrong. USD1, by the way, has been moving pretty well as well. So let's just have a quick look, see anything going on with World Liberty Financial. USD1, man, it's going to be big. This stablecoin is, I mean, it's a stablecoin, so you can't really do anything with it. But yeah, you got to watch out. Like USD1 is going everywhere. I don't know what its market cap is right now, but it's it feels like it's pretty big right now. But yeah, keep your eye on that. The escrow is 15 billion too much, as Ripple should now only hold 20 billion. 50 million XRP costs 30 billion. They're printing more than 30 billion XRP to the moon. Well, that's true. Again, I'm not sure why I'm shilling my own content. Go and watch that. Go and watch that XRP video. If you haven't seen it yet, Curtis, go and watch it because there's a lot of stuff in there that you'd be like, wow. When you talk about BIDL, BUIDL, which is BlackRock's tokenized fund, is on Wormhole. And what? All of a sudden that Ripple just partners with Wormhole and they're going to now support XRPL, Optimism, Ethereum, and one other. I can't think what it is now. It is no surprise. It's no surprise. Will it be financial? Will have tokenized gold? Yeah, I think so. I think tokenization is coming. And it's interesting because I think, you know, the fact that they have loads of staked ETH, USD1s going absolutely wild. Like, yeah, I definitely wouldn't be writing out will it be financial. I still hold my will it be financial, by the way. And hope that it will reward me in longer term as well. So good. Right, everybody. That was an hour. Man, that flew by, actually, in fairness. That was man, we've been live an hour and 15 minutes. I did not realize that. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, if you enjoyed this type of content this evening, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys taking a little bit of time out of your day. Do check out, obviously, the links in the description if you want to be trading all your favorite cryptocurrencies or joining our Discord. Equally, if you want to get some perks like having your name in green and some cool little icons, feel free to consider becoming a channel member. Dead simple, bottom of the screen, click join. It's about $5 a month. It gives you access to our premium Discord server as well, in which there is some VC opportunities as well as some new coins, trade analysis, and everything else. So again, highly recommend checking that one out as well. But I will be back tomorrow. Don't forget, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. in the UK. We're going to be live here on YouTube and on TikTok. So give us a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. And I can hear one of the twins crying. I will be back tomorrow, as always. Yeah, not bad for a free-for-all. I try my best, Craig. See you tomorrow, everybody. Thanks so much.